Hello everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove. Thank you for joining me today. Today is a product review of these Arrtx 72 set water pencils. I've never tried their water pencil sets before. They asked if I'd be interested, so I said yes, I'll give them a try. They also included a mini watercolor pad, which I was excited to receive because I didn't know that was coming. They do come in these really sturdy, pretty boxes, and they have quite a range of color inside them. I mean, there is 72 of them, so it's nice to see a big range. They also have the legend here that you would fill in with the pencils, because the outer case of the pencil can be deceiving. It doesn't necessarily produce that color. So you fill the little square that corresponds to the number of the pencil, and then dilute it from a light saturation to a dark saturation in the little square, and it gives you an idea of the range that this color will produce, which is handy if you're the kind of artist that might want to pre-select their palette. So that's what that's for. It's worth the time to do that. It also included a brush, so we'll give that a try. We'll see the quality of the brush in a minute. And these paints, I would say, are, pencils, I would say are a medium to low range cost. So they're a nice package to receive for a beginner artist or someone who is just learning about watercolor and wanted to try a different approach as opposed to just the paints themselves. You would apply these in different techniques. So I'm excited to give them a go, and I will give you a review on these of what I think. So you can see it comes and it folds out. That's kind of cool. So you can fold it out and lay it out so that you can see all the color options. And I'm just going to open the little mini watercolor book, which I'm also going to review the paper on. So like I said, I'm not expecting a huge surprise here because of the cost of these products. You can tell they're not super high end when it comes to the pricing, but like I said, they're a great option for beginners so far. So we'll see what they offer. This is not in any way monetized. They don't make money on the products if you decide to buy some. It is strictly just a product review. I will leave the link to the product below if you are interested in giving them a try. You're welcome to do so. And let's get started here. So I just pre-drew a little acorn here in the spirit of Christmas with a bow on it. And I thought we'd give it a little go with some reds and a range of browns. So that's the color palette I have picked out. Not sure exactly where this is going to take me. So I'm going to start with wetting the section first and then rubbing the crayon in for the first technique I want to try. And we'll see how soft these pencils are. So this approach I found worked the best for me. I did notice that some of these pencils were more grainier pigments than others, and I'm not a big fan of grainy watercolors. Some of them are designed to be like that when I don't love the graininess. So this one is a nice smooth one, and you see I did another approach there where I had water on my brush and I went to the pencil itself and painted, grabbed some pigment and painted. So that's a nice way to also control the amount of color you're putting in. Here I'm lifting some paint off. I want to try the quality of the brush. So it does a really good job. I have to say I really like the brush. There's an absorbency, so to me it is some sort of natural hair in there that is absorbing the paint, which is something you want in a watercolor brush. So here I'm just playing with the saturation of color, trying to build up some depth and some interest to the bow here. I'm going to try a lighter color and see if that sits on, a darker color, and see if I can build up some shading. See if it will sit on top. I really prefer the approach of wetting the brush, which is kind of, in a way, a little bit redundant for having a pencil, because then you can just dip in the paint itself. But for some reason, I keep going back to that technique. So I just put a light saturation in the bow, and here I'm going to try a different technique where I put down the pencil first and then paint it in to dilute it. So I'm not sure if it's the paper itself or the pencil, but I find that the crayon dilutes but does not completely dilute. So what I find is if you're looking for something with texture in it, if you're drawing something and you need it like hair or something, this would be a good approach for these pencils because it leaves that original mark behind and then softens. So you do have a range of uses with these pencil crayons. And I think if I were to do something abstract where I was very loose, these pencil crayons would be really good for that. And also they'd be nice to combine when you're using, say, your paint set, your regular watercolor set, and then you wanted to throw in some color very specific and draw it in. These would be handy for that. I don't find the quality of the colors wonderful. Their saturation is a little bit limited based on the style in which you're using them. So you can see here, I have to add a significant amount of pencil to build up my layers. Unlike a tubed watercolor, you would just absorb it in your paintbrush and then put it down as much as you want, if that makes sense. When pencil crayons, the approach is different. You have to build the layers up slowly, more slowly than you would with a tubed watercolor. So again, it's really just a question of what style you like. Do you want to do something slow and build it up and play, or do you want to just get at it with tubed paint and layer it on? So they are really nice to have in your repertoire. I'm glad I have a set of these now because I will be using them in different applications. But again, the quality of the paper is not the best. I probably wouldn't get the paper again, but the pencil crayon, the watercolor pencils, I think do offer quite a nice range of techniques. So I have played, since this video was recorded, I have played in this book some more, in this watercolor book, and I've been painting like a feather a day and just slapping down paint. I find this paper works much better with the tubed paint or like a watercolor palette as opposed to the brushes. So that being said, you could use this book for something other than the pencils. I just find the grain of the pencils gets caught in the paper. The tooth is just too strong, or the water, or the I can't talk today. The pencils don't absorb into the paper like they do with other watercolor paints. I hope that makes sense. But I'm just gonna play here and build it up. So I'll put a little music on, and if the music drives you nuts, feel free to mute it. I'm gonna put this in a little bit fast forward mode, and I'll see you at the end. So here I am just experimenting on a looser approach. The acorn was much more structured, and this I really wanted to just kind of dilute and play and see what possibilities these pencils have. And I think this is where they would shine more, is with a much looser background and mixing them with other products, you know, real great for mixed media basically. And I really like these pencils. They're a great addition to my mediums that I have. They, like I said, I would definitely use them on a different kind of paper though, and really have fun with them. So I hope this video gave you an idea how to use watercolor pencils. I will leave the link below if you're interested, and I appreciate you stopping by today. Thanks, and have a great day, everyone. Bye.